Have you ever felt the weight of trying to be liked? Like your worth depends on their approval, on being the person everyone smiles at? Maybe you've spent years chasing that elusive feeling, being accepted, appreciated, adored. But deep down, do you ever wonder if it's all just a trap? A prison built by your own desire to be loved? What if I told you that the most powerful people in history, those who truly influence, command respect, and leave lasting marks, never waste their time trying to be liked? That the secret to real power isn't about winning hearts, but about mastering the art of respect and authority? Think about it. When you chase approval, you give away your freedom. You become predictable, vulnerable, controlled by others' opinions. But the truly influential? They understand something crucial. They know that seeking love can weaken you, distract you from your true purpose, and keep you stuck in a cycle of insecurity. Maybe you're experiencing this right now. Maybe you feel the frustration of trying to please everyone, only to realize that it's a never-ending game. The more you try, the more distant your true power feels. It's exhausting. It's demoralizing. And yet, you keep going, hoping that if you just try harder, you'll get that one moment of validation that makes everything worth it. But what if I told you that real power lies elsewhere? That it's not about the hugs or the applause, but about control, strategy, and the willingness to stand alone if necessary? Throughout this video, I'll reveal how the greatest minds, like Machiavelli, thought about power differently. How they saw the pursuit of respect and authority as the true path to influence. You'll learn how to shift your perspective, to stop chasing fleeting approval, and start building an unshakable foundation of influence. Because the truth is, if you want to lead, if you want to make an impact, you need to understand that being liked is often a distraction, a false goal that keeps you small. If this resonates with you, that feeling of being caught in the need for approval, then I invite you to subscribe now. Because here, we talk about the hard truths that most avoid. The truths that can set you free, empower you, and elevate your life to a level you never thought possible. This isn't just philosophy, it's a strategy for domination. And if you're ready to stop playing small, to start commanding your own life, then stay tuned. The real power begins when you stop trying to be liked and start focusing on what truly matters. You wake up each day with a gnawing anxiety, wondering if today is the day someone will finally see you as enough. Yet deep down, you know it's just an illusion. It's as if you're running on a treadmill that never stops, always moving forward but getting nowhere, your self-esteem slipping further away with each passing moment. Inside, there's this relentless conflict. Your desire to be loved versus your fear of rejection. You crave connection, but at the same time, you're terrified of losing yourself in the process. You try to mold yourself into what others want, hoping that if you're perfect enough, they'll finally accept you. But no matter how hard you try, it never feels like enough. The more you bend and compromise, the more distant you become from your true self. You start to wonder if your worth is even real or just a fragile illusion built on hollow validation. Every compliment feels like a fleeting lifeline, yet it's never enough to fill the void inside. And then there's this vicious cycle. You crave approval, so you become someone else, desperately seeking external validation. But the moment you get it, it's never satisfying. It's just a temporary high that quickly fades. Soon, you're back to feeling insecure, doubting yourself even more. You become a prisoner of your own need to be liked, constantly trying to keep everyone happy, but never truly satisfying anyone, especially yourself. It's a painful paradox. The more you chase acceptance, the more you lose your independence. Your confidence erodes, replaced by a constant fear of rejection that whispers in your mind, telling you that you're not enough, that you're unworthy unless you're pleasing others. And so you sit there, feeling the weight of unspoken disappointments and unmet expectations. You wonder why it's so hard to just be yourself, why your authentic voice is muffled beneath layers of trying to fit into someone else's mold. Every day feels like a battle to maintain the illusion of happiness, but inside, you're breaking apart. You're longing for freedom, for authenticity, for a chance to breathe without the fear of judgment. Yet you stay caught in this emotional web, feeling more alone than ever, knowing deep down that no matter how much you try, the pain remains, the ache of never truly being enough. But more often than not, the notifications are sparse or superficial, and a sense of emptiness creeps in. Proof that your efforts to be liked are never enough. You find yourself obsessively scrolling through social media, comparing your life to others, feeling that gnawing ache of inadequacy intensify with every scroll. It's a cycle you can't break, a relentless treadmill where no matter how much you try, you never reach a state of peace. Throughout your day, you catch yourself adjusting your words, your tone, your expression, everything to avoid rejection. In meetings, you hesitate to voice your honest opinion, fearing it might ruffle feathers or reveal your true self. Instead, you nod along, wear a mask of agreement, and smile politely, even when inside, a storm of doubt and frustration rages. Deep down, you long to be authentic, to speak freely, but the fear of being disliked is like an anchor dragging you back into conformity. You tell yourself it's for the sake of peace, but inside, you feel a quiet desperation, a silent scream to be seen for who you really are. In social settings, you often find yourself overanalyzing every word and gesture. Did they like that joke? Was your comment met with approval? Did your laughter sound genuine enough? These questions haunt you, fueling a persistent paranoia about rejection. You change your behavior, your style, even your personality, just to fit into the molds that others expect. You suppress your true feelings, hiding parts of yourself to maintain the illusion of acceptance. The loneliness becomes a constant companion, even when surrounded by people. You feel invisible, like an actor playing a role, desperately hoping that this performance will finally earn you the love and validation you crave. Your nights are no different. After a long day of trying to be what you think others want, you lie awake, replaying every interaction in your mind. Did you say too much? Not enough? Was your smile convincing enough? You analyze every detail, holding on to every perceived flaw or rejection as if it were a personal failure. This obsessive self-scrutiny only deepens your feelings of inadequacy, reinforcing the belief that you are fundamentally unworthy unless you are constantly approved of. Your self-esteem is fragile, built on shifting sands of external opinions, and the more you seek validation, the more distant you feel from your true self. And yet, you continue, because beneath the exhaustion, there is a faint hope that if you try harder, if you just become more likable, you'll finally find peace. But what you don't realize is that this relentless pursuit is trapping you in a prison of your own making. The walls are high, and inside you're suffocated by the fear of rejection, the craving for approval, and the silent pain of never feeling enough. You walk this tightrope day after day, worn down by the illusion that happiness lies just beyond the next validation, unaware that this endless cycle is slowly eroding your sense of self. This is your reality. You are living in a constant state of emotional claustrophobia, a suffocating cage where your worth hinges on external acceptance. And the more you chase it, the more distant your authentic self becomes, buried beneath layers of masks and compromises. It's a silent, persistent pain that no one sees, yet it consumes you from the inside out. Machiavelli once said, "It is much safer to be feared than loved, because love is maintained by a chain of obligation which, by its very nature, is broken whenever it serves the interest of those who love." That insight reveals a harsh truth. Seeking validation from others is a trap that keeps you small, fragile, and ultimately powerless. When you chase after approval, you are weaving your identity into the fragile fabric of external opinion, making yourself vulnerable to every shift in perception, every rejection, every moment of doubt. This is the core of what psychologists call the I validation paradox. It's the idea that the more you desperately seek approval, the more distant you become from your true self. Instead of standing firm in your authenticity, you bend, adjust, and mask parts of yourself just to fit the ever-changing expectations of others. You might smile when you feel like crying, speak when your voice trembles, or pretend to be confident when inside you feel small and insecure. Why? Because deep down, you believe that your worth depends on the approval of others. You think that if they don't like you, you are somehow less, unworthy, invisible. But here's the painful truth that Machiavelli hints at. Seeking to be liked is a form of surrender. It's a silent agreement that your identity is not your own, but something to be negotiated and controlled by external opinions. You are caught in a cycle where your self-esteem hinges on fleeting moments of validation, which are unpredictable and unstable. The more you chase after it, the more it slips away, leaving you exhausted, empty, and disconnected from your real self. Ask yourself, how much of your day is spent trying to earn approval? Are your actions truly yours, or are they shaped by the desire to be accepted? When someone criticizes you, do you feel crushed because you believe their judgment defines you, or do you recognize that their opinion is just that, a fleeting perception, not the truth of who you are? The psychological pain behind this cycle is profound. It's a loneliness rooted in the illusion of connection, a feeling of invisibility despite all your efforts to be seen. You might be surrounded by people yet feel completely alone because your true self remains hidden, masked by the need to conform. You wonder why, despite everything you do, you never quite feel enough. You ask yourself, is this really what I want? Or am I simply afraid to be myself? This is the quiet power of Machiavelli's insight. The most resilient individuals don't seek approval because they know that genuine strength comes from within. They understand that authentic influence is rooted in self-awareness, not in pleasing everyone. They accept that not everyone will like them, and that's okay. Because true power is not about external validation. It's about owning your truth, regardless of what others think. So I leave you with this question. What would happen if you stopped trying so desperately to be liked? If your worth was no longer dictated by others' opinions, how would your life change? The journey to that truth begins now, and it's a path worth exploring. Next, we'll delve into how this understanding can set you free from the illusion of external approval, revealing the strength that's already within you. It's a reflection of a psychological trap, an ingrained pattern that keeps you tethered to external validation, even when it drains your energy and distorts your true self. This pattern isn't a sign of weakness. It's a survival mechanism you learned long ago, a way to avoid rejection and maintain a fragile sense of safety. But the truth is, it's also what keeps you disconnected from your own power and authenticity. Imagine arriving at work and noticing that you change your tone or suppress your opinions to avoid conflict or disapproval. Maybe you stay silent when a colleague criticizes someone, even if you disagree, just to keep the peace. Or perhaps, after social gatherings, you replay every word you said, obsessing over whether you impressed others or if they saw your flaws. These behaviors are not random. They are manifestations of a deep-seated need for external validation. You believe that if you're liked, you're safe. If you're rejected, you're vulnerable and unworthy. It's a cycle you've been caught in for years, and it's exhausting. This pattern also shows up in your relationships. Perhaps you find yourself constantly seeking reassurance from your partner, needing them to affirm your worth through compliments or validation. Or you might overextend yourself to please friends or family, fearing that saying no will make you unlikable. These actions are not about kindness or caring. They are about anchoring your sense of self in others' opinions. The unconscious message is, if I am accepted by others, I am safe. If I am not, I am insignificant. It's a psychological armor designed to protect you from the pain of rejection, but it also keeps you from experiencing your true strength. What you may not realize is that this pattern is not a reflection of your weakness, but of an old, automatic survival strategy. It's a learned behavior, a response to past experiences where rejection felt unbearable. And now, even in your present life, it operates unconsciously, guiding your actions and thoughts without you realizing it. You might believe you are simply being kind or polite, but underneath, you are seeking approval to feel valued. Recognizing this is the first step toward breaking free. Remember, your worth isn't defined by others' opinions. The desire to be liked is natural, but it should never dictate your actions or distort your authentic self. You are not weak for feeling this way. You are human, caught in a cycle that no longer serves you. The power lies in awareness, recognizing these patterns, understanding their origins, and choosing to act from your true self instead of your fears. As you reflect on this, ask yourself, what would your life look like if you let go of the need to be constantly validated? What would change if you trusted your own worth without external approval? The journey toward authentic power begins with this realization. The next step is to see that your true strength resides within you, waiting to be reclaimed. And it starts now. Have you ever felt trapped in the relentless pursuit of approval, as if your worth hinges on the fleeting opinions of others? That constant craving to be liked, to be accepted, often leaves you exhausted, disconnected from your true self. It's as if you're walking a tightrope, desperately trying to balance the fear of rejection with the desire to be seen as enough. And behind this struggle lies a profound truth. The very need to be liked is a sign of an inner weakness disguised as strength. When you prioritize external validation, you're giving away your power. Every compliment, every approval becomes a fragile anchor that keeps you tethered to a false sense of security. But ask yourself, what happens when that validation fades? When the applause stops, or worse, turns into indifference? You're left feeling small, vulnerable, as if your worth was never truly yours to begin with. That's the hidden cost of seeking approval at all costs, losing touch with your authentic self, your core strength, and your inherent value. Now, think about the people you admire, the ones who exude confidence, independence, and quiet strength. They don't chase after being liked. They stand firm in their truth, unaffected by the shifting winds of opinion, because they understand something fundamental. True power comes from within. It's rooted in acceptance of yourself, in embracing your flaws and imperfections without apology. When you rely on others' approval, you're building your life on sand, vulnerable to the slightest criticism or rejection. But when you cultivate self-love and inner confidence, you create a foundation that no external storm can shake. Ask yourself, how much of your life have you wasted trying to earn approval that was never truly yours to give? How much energy have you spent molding yourself into what others want instead of what you genuinely are? The pain you feel, the anxiety, the loneliness, the feeling of emptiness stems from this disconnect. It's a silent cry for authenticity, a desperate plea to return to your true self. Yet deep down, you already know the answer. The power to change your story has always been within you. You just have to choose to reclaim it. And now the question is, how long are you going to continue living like this? How long will you let the fear of rejection dictate your choices, your happiness, your life? Because beneath every mask you wear, beneath every attempt to please, there is a quiet, unshakable core of strength waiting to be uncovered. It's time to face that truth. Because only by embracing your authentic self can you break free from this endless cycle and finally find the peace that comes from within. I invite you, share your thoughts. What's the moment when you realized that seeking approval isn't the answer? How does that realization make you feel? Let's explore this journey together because your story and your strength are worth truly embracing. You step into your routine, maybe at work or in your social circle, constantly aware of how others might perceive you. You catch yourself trying to smile just a little more warmly, nodding a little more eagerly, hoping to earn a compliment or a bit of validation. Small gestures, your agreeing tone, your laughter at jokes that aren't funny, are all part of the effort to fit in, to be liked. It's exhausting, but you tell yourself it's worth it, because at least then you feel safe. But beneath that smile, there's a quiet ache, a gnawing sense that none of it is genuine. You find yourself adjusting your opinions to match the group's, suppressing your true thoughts and feelings just to avoid conflict or rejection. Maybe you hide your vulnerabilities, your imperfections, because you fear that showing weakness might make you unworthy of love or respect. Every compliment you receive feels like a temporary patch, an external validation that doesn't reach inside to heal the emptiness. You crave approval, yet each time you get it, it feels fleeting, hollow. The more you seek it, the more you realize that it's a fragile illusion, one that can be shattered with a single unkind word or a dismissive glance. In social situations, you often find yourself second-guessing your words, wondering if you said the right thing, if you smiled too much or too little. You analyze every interaction, hoping for signs of acceptance, but instead, you notice subtle signs of disinterest or impatience. These moments cut deep, confirming your worst fears, that you're not enough, that your worth depends on others' opinions. This cycle of seeking validation becomes a trap. It's like wearing a mask every day, pretending to be someone you're not, all in the hope of avoiding loneliness. But deep down, you know that this constant effort leaves you drained, disconnected from your authentic self. And as the days go by, you can't help but feel a growing sense of dissatisfaction. No matter how much you try to please others, the emotional hunger remains unfulfilled. You're caught in a cycle of superficial approval, feeling increasingly empty, as if your true worth is slipping further away with each passing day. The pain of this ongoing performance weighs on your chest, leaving you longing for genuine connection, something that feels just out of reach. You wonder if there's a way out, but the fear of losing what little validation you have keeps you trapped in this endless cycle. In the quiet moments of your day, do you ever catch yourself holding back your true feelings, afraid of how others might react? Maybe you smile when you feel like crying, nod when you want to scream, or hide your insecurities behind a facade of confidence. This is the silent cost of trying to be liked, sacrificing your authenticity for fleeting approval. When you seek validation from your partner or those close to you, you often end up neglecting your own emotional needs. You might tell yourself that it's easier to agree than to risk conflict, but deep down, you feel the weight of those compromises. Over time, this pattern drains your spirit, turning genuine intimacy into a series of surface-level interactions. You become a mirror of what you think others want, losing sight of your own desires and vulnerabilities. The more you suppress your true self, the more distant you grow from your own heart and from the person who truly knows you. In romantic relationships, this dynamic can be especially destructive. Imagine constantly trying to please your partner, even when it means neglecting your own happiness. You might laugh at jokes that aren't funny or pretend to agree with opinions you secretly disagree with, all in the hope of avoiding rejection. As days pass, the gap between who you are and who you pretend to be widens. Your authentic voice becomes muffled, drowned out by the need to be accepted. You may start to feel like a guest in your own relationship, always performing rather than connecting. This emotional self-neglect breeds resentment towards yourself and your partner, because the foundation is built on superficiality, not genuine understanding. The fear of losing love pushes you to wear masks, but those masks only deepen your loneliness. You become a stranger to yourself, and the love you crave becomes a distant echo, slipping further away with each act of self-denial. Think about the pain of living this way. How often do you sacrifice your truth to avoid conflict or rejection? How many moments have you buried your feelings to keep the peace? Now ask yourself, what would it take to be truly seen and loved for who you really are? The answer lies in facing your fears and embracing your authenticity, even if it means risking rejection. Because real love, the kind that sustains, isn't built on masks. It's rooted in vulnerability and honesty. If you continue to prioritize others' approval over your own well-being, you're not truly living. You're merely existing in a fragile illusion of connection. So ask yourself this: are you willing to keep pretending? Or will you finally have the courage to be unapologetically yourself? The choice is yours, and your happiness depends on it. When you suppress your feelings, fear, anger, sadness, you're not just creating emotional chaos. You're also sending signals of distress through your physical being. Do you notice how your shoulders tighten when you're anxious, or how your stomach knots when you're overwhelmed? These are signs your body is begging for emotional boundaries, for you to acknowledge what you're feeling instead of pushing it down. Ignoring these signals doesn't make them disappear, it amplifies them. Headaches become more frequent, fatigue deepens, and your immune system weakens because your nervous system is stuck in a constant state of alert, trying to keep your emotions hidden and under control. The emotional suppression you practice to avoid rejection or confrontation doesn't just stay in your mind. It manifests physically: chronic tension in your neck and back, persistent stomach issues, or even tightness in your chest. These symptoms are your body's way of saying, "I can't carry this burden alone." When you refuse to set boundaries, you're inadvertently telling yourself that your feelings don't matter. Your body responds to this neglect with psychosomatic pain, soreness, migraines, digestive problems that are all cries for help. It's as if your body is screaming, "Let me breathe, let me be free from this emotional prison you built." Think about the times you felt exhausted after a day spent trying to keep everyone happy, even at the expense of your own needs. That exhaustion isn't just mental, it's physical fatigue that drags you down. When you don't honor your emotional limits, stress accumulates, leading to increased cortisol levels, which impact your sleep, your mood, and your overall vitality. Your body is begging for emotional boundaries, spaces where you can be honest about what you feel, where you can say no without guilt, where your needs take precedence. Ignoring these signals only deepens the cycle of burnout and disconnection. Reflect for a moment. How many times have you ignored the tightness in your chest or the racing thoughts that won't let you rest? These are not mere inconveniences. They're urgent calls for help. You're already suffering silently, and your body's symptoms are warning signs you cannot afford to dismiss any longer. If you continue down this path, the emotional toll will manifest into more serious health issues. Your body is pleading with you to set boundaries, to honor your truth, and to stop sacrificing your well-being for the approval of others. The time to listen is now, before your body forces you to confront much worse consequences. You owe yourself the courage to finally prioritize your emotional health, because ignoring these signs is a danger you can no longer afford to ignore. But instead, it feeds the cycle, like a snowball rolling downhill, growing bigger and heavier with each turn. The more you give in, the more others feel entitled to demand. They push for more, sensing your willingness, and every concession becomes a silent contract. I'll keep quiet, I'll keep giving, I'll keep sacrificing myself to avoid conflict. And so, you become the emotional punching bag, absorbing every jab of criticism, every unreasonable expectation, with a forced smile that cracks a little more each day. This relentless cycle begins to erode your strength, like a slow leak in a tire that you ignore until you're stranded. Month after month, the weight of carrying everyone's needs becomes unbearable. Your energy drains away, like a candle burning at both ends, flickering in the dark. You wake up exhausted, not because of physical activity, but because of the emotional toll you carry. The fatigue isn't just tired, it's a heavy blanket smothering your spirit, making it harder to stand your ground. You start to feel hollow, like a shell of yourself, running on empty but still trying to meet every demand. Your patience wears thin, your boundaries blur, and the emotional exhaustion deepens into a state of numbness. You become a ghost in your own life, disconnected from your feelings, yet still painfully aware of the growing cracks in your resilience. Over time, this cycle feeds on itself, becoming an unstoppable vortex. The more you suppress your needs, the more others take advantage, and the more exhausted you become, both physically and emotionally. It's as if each act of self-denial chips away a piece of your soul, leaving behind a hollowed-out version of yourself, someone who's constantly giving but never receiving. And as the months pass, the damage compounds, making it harder to find the energy or will to break free. You start to wonder if this is just how it's supposed to be, trapped in a relentless loop of giving until there's nothing left. And deep inside, a provocative question lurks. How long can you keep sacrificing yourself before there's nothing left to give? Every day, many people face the silent burden of trying to be liked, of sacrificing their true selves to keep peace, only to feel drained, disconnected, and lost in an endless cycle of giving without receiving. You've experienced the exhaustion of saying yes when your heart screams no, the emotional fatigue that leaves you feeling empty and overwhelmed. You've seen how this pattern turns you into a shadow of who you once were, carrying burdens that aren't yours, absorbing criticism, and losing sight of your own worth. This cycle of self-sacrifice and emotional exhaustion isn't just a fleeting feeling. It's a profound experience that chips away at your resilience, leaving you questioning how much more you can give before there's nothing left. But here's the truth. You have the power to break free. You can choose to stand tall, to embrace your authentic self, and to redefine what it means to be truly powerful. The path might be difficult, but it's worth it. Because within you lies a well of strength you've yet to tap into, a strength that doesn't rely on pleasing everyone, but on honoring your own truth. Remember, real power isn't about seeking approval. It's about knowing your worth and standing firm in it. So, as you listen to this, let it be a spark that ignites your courage to change. Your journey towards authenticity and inner peace begins now. You are capable of more than you realize. Trust yourself, believe in your power to transform, and know that every step forward is a victory, no matter how small. Now, let's move into the next chapter of your story, one of true strength, self-respect, and freedom. Remember, the path to true power begins with believing in yourself and daring to break free from limiting patterns. Now, let's embrace the incredible truth. Change is always within your reach. No matter how deeply rooted your habits of seeking approval or hiding your authentic self may seem, you hold the power to rewrite your story. Every moment is an opportunity to choose a different path, one where your worth isn't defined by others' opinions, but by your own recognition of your true value. You are not your past mistakes nor the doubts that have held you back. You are a resilient spirit, capable of growth and renewal. The journey to genuine strength is not about perfection. It's about courage. Courage to face your fears, to stand firm in your authenticity, and to trust that your inner light can shine brighter than ever before. This is your moment to step into your power, to shed the layers of fear and doubt, and to embrace the confident, authentic person you are meant to be. Remember, transformation begins with a single decision, your decision, to believe in yourself and to pursue a life aligned with your true purpose. You are capable of more than you can imagine. Your resilience, your authenticity, and your unwavering spirit are the keys to overcoming any obstacle. The world needs your unique light, your voice, your strength. Never forget that your true power lies in embracing who you are, unapologetically. Take this moment as a sign that your next chapter is waiting to be written. Step forward with hope, confidence, and the unwavering belief that you are enough. Your journey toward freedom and self-empowerment starts now. Believe in it, live it, and watch how your life transforms into a masterpiece of authenticity and strength. The future is yours. Claim it. It comes from embracing your authenticity, making conscious choices, and standing firm in your values, even when it's uncomfortable. You've learned that the most influential people are those who prioritize their purpose over their need for validation, understanding that real strength is born from self-trust and resilience. Now it's time to realize that you hold the keys to your own transformation. You are the one who decides how to respond to life's challenges, how to nurture your confidence, and how to step into your true power. No one can dictate your worth except you, and every decision you make can propel you closer to living a life aligned with your deepest purpose. So, I invite you, commit today to rewriting your story. Embrace your uniqueness, face your fears, and choose growth over comfort. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to the channel now, turn on notifications so you don't miss the next steps in your journey, and most importantly, watch the next video I'm leaving here on the screen. It's the crucial next chapter in your personal transformation, the next step to unlocking the power that's already within you. Remember, your future is shaped by the decisions you make today. You are capable of more than you can imagine. Believe in your strength, take action, and step boldly into the life you deserve. The time is now.